You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry Sanderson on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
Over the Marlins in 10 innings to move 2 games up on the idle Yankees. Mets beat the Braves 3-2 in 10 innings. The Mets are a half game back of Atlanta for the number 1 wildcard spot in the National League.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
And good morning. Welcome into a Friday edition of Inside the Locker Room. 205-342-9904 if you want to jump in on the show with us this morning. I had some guys stop me yesterday over at the Belk Center, and they work over there, so they listen to us each and every morning. So we appreciate all the listeners out there. A lot of guys don't get a chance to call, but we have people out there listening. So if you do want to pick up the phone and call us this morning, once again, it's 205-342-9904. Yellowwood pressure treated pine from Great Southern. They bring you the 7 o'clock hour. They do it each and every day. Go to yellowwood.com to find a dealer that is closer to you. Going to build the 5-star backyard, the fence, the deck, the pergola. There's only one choice, and that is Yellowwood. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, then believe me, you don't want it. Want to get to us via email, wimpandbarry@yahoo.com, or download the Tide 100.9 app to your smartphone, and you can take us with you anywhere you go. The Olympics get started. I guess maybe it has started, but not sure exactly what channel all that's on tonight, but I know Jenny likes the Olympics, so we'll probably try to watch a little Olympics tonight. Good morning, Dad. How are you this morning?
Hanging in there, Barry. I guess we ought to start with commitments about Alabama and football. I hope to have Jerry Milroe on at the bottom of the hour on a little speech that he made the other day. I guess Alabama has somewhere in the neighborhood of 22 commitments. Keelan Russell, the quarterback that transferred in from SMU, seems to be the talk of the town, although the quarterback room, I think, is pretty darn good. I don't really like to break this down, but people like to hear it. So, somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 5s and 12 4s and 5 3s as far as numbers is concerned. When you look at the recruiting for this year in the summer recruiting, basically there are 4, 5, 6 schools that have done really well. Ohio State said to be number 1. Don't know whether they are or not. Georgia is right in the mix, right there with Alabama, maybe a little bit ahead sometimes of them. So Ohio State and Georgia, LSU's done, I think, okay. Tennessee's done well. Oklahoma's come in and done well. So for those of you who are interested in the football recruiting, I guess most of you are, that's just kind of something they put out this morning. So we'll see what happens. I think commitments, there's so many times that you get commitments that don't turn out really. Dabo has come out and said that he's upset about the walk-on rule, that you can't have as many walk-ons as you need to have. That, he was sort of a walk-on, I think, when he came to Alabama. And he doesn't, it says it frustrates him. At least he's honest about it. I can understand. He said if he could go to the transfer portal and get a lot of people if he really wanted to, I think. So anyway, that's where we are in recruiting. That's not perfect. You're welcome to call in and give your opinion about Alabama's recruiting, but I think the Alabama staff, since the coaching change, has come in and done an excellent job. In the golf tournament, we've got some guys that have played pretty well. Stuart Sink is 5 under, and Robbie Shelton 3 under. I think Nick is even. Hogan, Riley are 1 under in the golf tournament. So we'll see how that goes. The Braves lost again 3-2. Of course, they're piled with injuries and things haven't gone real good for them. I don't keep up with them the way I should, but supposedly they've had a lot of injuries. Billy Napier, the head coach of Florida, is trying to get this Rashad lawsuit thrown out. Hasn't been. I don't know what's going to happen with that situation. We'll see what happens there. The Anthony player who's really, really good, his son, Camilo Anthony's son, is narrowed it down to Auburn as one of the 4 people that he's looking at to finally make a decision as where he's going to go to school. It's supposed to be very good. We welcome your calls. Hopefully we can get something that Jalen said yesterday in a thing, if we can, at the bottom of the hour. And hopefully Sonny will be on at 8:15. So we're all, I guess, looking forward to the next Wednesday, I think it is, when football starts, and everybody has all their opinions about what's going to happen. That's it.
I guess the scholarship thing, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. I had a chance to kind of think about it yesterday. I do believe they can give partials in all these sports now where they used to couldn't. So they don't want to go to 105. They could give 85 fulls or whatever, and then they still have 20 scholarships. Here's a question I have, though, and I guess maybe a more come out today. Chase, I don't know if you guys have thought about this, but you got to think these rosters are, and I'm talking about scholarship guys now. And I understand what Dabo's saying is when you have walk-ons, they kind of know what their role is. Their role is to be a scout team player, and they accept that role, and they're fine. If he could go sign 20 more good players, he probably can, but those guys won't be happy in that role if he chooses to go try to sign 20 more 4-stars. Those guys are all going to want to play. So I think it helps your locker room when guys' roles are completely defined. Here's my question to you. If you have 85 on now, forget the walk-ons, are you going to be able to go out this year? Because if you can get it to 105, does that give everybody, let's just say they're at 85 and they got to get back to 85. Well, that gives them 20 more scholarships. Is Alabama going to be able to go out and sign 45 guys this year? It seems like if you can get to 105 and you've only had 85, that's giving you 20 more scholarships. You would think they would make you grow it over time. But to me, that sounds like every SEC team, Dad, is going to have 45 scholarships this year if they want to get it to that number. Are you not reading that the same way?
Well, I didn't know whether they jumped out to 25 or not, to the year 2025 or not.
Yeah, they did.
I guess 26 then. I wasn't sure that was going to come down like that this year, so I just kind of stayed out of it. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so they can get it to 105. They said now, I think you could bring in 85 scholarship bright guys, but I don't know how you would do this because football starts so early. If you wanted to bring in 30 guys and just say, hey, come as a walk-on, and then out of those 20, we'll decide who those 20 are going to be that are going to be on the team. But you got to cap it at 105, so you could give all 20 of those a scholarship if you wanted to. You could give them a partial. You don't have to give them a full anymore. So that's my question about football. Could these guys sign 45 guys now to get it to
Yeah, and I also think you have it pretty tough on some people, jealousy-wise, who get partials, and other people are getting big money to play. My contention is that Ohio State, if they falter some with giving people the kind of money they've given them to play last year, will have people lay down on them if they're not careful.
They don't have to do the partial. They just give 105 and give everybody a scholarship.
I understand that, yeah.
Yeah, so I think football is a little bit of a problem there just because depends on how you're going to use those extra 20. Are you going to go get guys that are going to be happy being scout team guys, red shirt, whatever? That's a problem. Baseball, I think people say, well, there's going to be more and more people getting the portal. See, I disagree. In baseball, they're going from 40 to 34, and a lot of these kids were getting only 25% of the scholarship. So they were paying 75% out of pocket. If you have a kid and he's at a SEC school and he's on a full ride, he ain't getting in the portal. They're getting in the portal now because they're having to come out of pocket 75%. If you're getting a full ride, I'm probably not. I'm going to be pretty darn sure I got somewhere to go before I jump in that portal, because these guys are getting full. If Alabama and Auburn and Mississippi State and all these guys, if they're giving you a full scholarship where you're not paying anything out of pocket, are you going to run to the portal unless you know you got somewhere to go?
No, probably not. I would say not.
So I would think the elite guys make it bounce. Now, here's the problem you're going to have is the coaches now. This is what it's going to be. I don't think guys are going to get in there because they're not going to leave a full scholarship. But now coaches will run guys off now because they have a full scholarship. You're taking a full scholarship. You're not as good as I thought. You got to go. And I can see coaches running guys off more than I could the actual player leaving. Would you agree to that?
Some. I would say some would. Some wouldn't. But I think it's a number counting thing. It's a money counting thing. It's the athletic director versus your head football coach's deal on the partials. I think it's going to be interesting to see. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Alabama or whoever, they could bring in baseball. You could bring in 25 scholarship guys in the fall, bring in another 20, not give them anything and say, hey, in the spring we're going to work it out. We'll figure out who else is going to fall under those 34, and then you can, give. But I would think everybody would want to have the full 34 scholarships. So my thing is, in basketball is going to get 2 more. Do you think that will help the high school kid a little bit? If I got 2 more scholarships, and I can go to 15, I could only get 13. Where I was going all portal, maybe it'll help get a high schooler kid or 2 maybe get recruited now because they have more scholarship. You think?
I think so. Yeah. When I said yesterday that when I first came to Alabama that we had 20. Well, you have to remember now. When I first came to Alabama, we had freshman teams. You weren't allowed to play on the varsity your freshman year, so we had these 5 or 6 guys. I think we had 22 actually. But when I first came to Alabama, we had freshman teams. That's all been passed by.
If they really want to clean it up, this is the rule they should make. You can take X number of portal guys every 2 years, and it resets. So let's say football. All right, we'll give you can take 12 in a 2-year period, 12 portal guys. That makes you go back and recruit high school. Basketball, you can take 5 in 2 years, whatever. I'm just making these numbers up. And cap how many portal guys they can take over a 2-year period. That forces them to go sign some high school kids but I don't know that will ever happen there. So those are just my thoughts about the portal. I think of these additional scholarships, each sport's a little bit different, but I'm not sure these guys that are getting SEC baseball scholarships will be running to that portal now that they're getting a full ride. Because they weren't in the past. None of those guys were getting.
I think a partial deal is bigger in baseball than it is anything else. I don't think it's going to work as well in football or something like that, personally.
Well, baseball, I still think Greg Sankey is going to encourage each SEC team to use the full 34. If you're Vanderbilt, if you're a school and you're going to say, well, we got 20 fulls that rest we can do on partials, then you don't have the same deal as everybody else. So I think, because you can only have 34 anyway, so you might as well have 34 fulls. All right, we can discuss that. 205-342-9904. 2-minute truck there at 1330 Martin Road East. That's where you go pick up your boxes, your packing supplies, whatever you need to make this a smooth move. Whether it's local, out of town, out of state, let the professionals handle it. Give them a call today. It's 205-247-5050. It's 2 Men in a Truck, movers who care.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We always hope for the best on the Friday morning drive in particular. We seem to be getting it so far. A really quiet ride all around the T-Town region this morning. 2059 from Foster's to Cottondale. The drive along McFarland from Buell, Coker, down to U of A and I-20 beyond. You're moving at posted speeds there as well. And along Highway 69 up from Hale County as well with no big problems there. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Friday morning. Former Bama and Kansas City Chiefs football player Isaiah Buggs was convicted of animal cruelty charges in municipal court. He was sentenced to a year of hard labor. That conviction has now been suspended pending an outcome of his appeal. In a separate case, Buggs was arrested on domestic violence charges and also
10-2. Townsend Nissan's got the best position for buying a vehicle. $2,000 to $10,000 in discounts now. No other dealer in town can do that. Townsend Nissan.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance.
$5. Let's get your favorite Good and Gather snacks. They're now at a new lower price.
Best team ever. When it comes to low prices, Target has your back to school.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A warm day today with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. The chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms mainly this afternoon and this evening. The high today 88, the low tonight 72. Tomorrow partly sunny, a few scattered storms around, the high 89. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Never miss a moment of the action. Download the free Tide 100.9 app today.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room, 205-342-9904 if you want to jump in on the show with us this morning. One thing, Yellowwood pressure treated pine from Great Southern. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. Phone lines are open. We'll get to the Yellowwood hotline and get Philip in. Good morning, Philip.
Good morning, guys. We really enjoyed the show yesterday. It was great. And Barry, how did this this scholarship adjustment thing come about? It just sort of, I kind of remember reading about it a while back and then forgot about it, and then boom, it happens. What prompted all this? It was part of the lawsuit that those people brought against the NCAA, the $2.7 billion settlement. That was one of the negotiations with the settlement was to get more scholarships for these athletes. So they had to put that in there. They weren't going to settle, and they were going to make it go to court. And they kept saying this, you know, if this thing goes to court, they could lose, I don't know, 15, 20 billion. So they put that in there as part of the settlement, giving baseball more scholarships, more to football, more for the student athlete, basically, is how it happened. So it's part of the settlement. Okay, very good. Thanks for clearing that up. And I tell you, I'm on another topic, completely different. I've got an idea for Eli Gold, and I'll save it for next week. Okay. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Well, do you hear what I'm saying, though? If they go to, let's take football. If they go to 105, this not this season, but next season. Yes. If you do that immediately, which it sounds like they are, then just based on the numbers, it looks like you're giving everybody basically a 45-man signing class this year to get it to the 105 because they're not over 85 now. It seems like you would kind of do it in segments. All right, you can have 5 more in 2025, 5 more in 2026. By 2028, you can be at 105. But if you let them get there now, that's 20 more scholarships that these guys can offer. Alabama taking all these commitments is smart because they're going to be able to get they're going to be able to get all kind of guys like that. That's right, Barry, and that's going to be interesting to see how how programs manage that because some will manage it a lot differently than others, and that's going to be the key thing is how do you manage this new influx of numbers? And it'll be some will manage it very liberally. And some will manage it very conservatively.
and it'll be interesting to see how that works out for these programs that we're interested in. But I believe overall it's a good thing. I like the opportunities it's giving people, and I think it's going to help high school athletes get their foot back in the door.
Yeah, I think you were talking with Chase. I was saying they ought to cap how many portal guys you can take over a 2-year period. We'll give football 15 over a 2-year period. That makes you go get the high school kid because you can only take so many. I don't think they're going to do that, but that would be a way to fix it.
It would be, and that's a great idea. And I think the extra 2 players for basketball is good. However, I don't think all coaches are going to exercise that. I mean, John Calipari's, he's talking about only having about 9 guys. And so I like it. I think that's good. Now, what's it going to do to the women's team?
Well, they're already at 15. So they were at 15.
So will they get adjustments upwards? Because of this?
Softball did, but not basketball because they were already at that. Yeah, I think softball got, I could be wrong, they were 12, they went to 25, or they were 13, they went to 25. And then volleyball got some more scholarships as well that they didn't have.
Well, it's a pleasure talking to you on the eve of my 64th birthday, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and your show is tremendous, and I really look forward to it every day.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right, Dad, you mentioned in the opening about the Braves, and people are killing the Braves right now. Do people understand? Like, I don't understand. Like, people do not give you a pass. It's just whether you're winning or losing. I mean, they have got Michael Harris out, Albies is out, Acuna's out, Max Fried's out. I mean, they've got so many guys that are out, and now they're playing with these AAA guys. And now people think they're supposed to keep winning at the same rate, and they're just criticizing these minor league guys that they've had to move up. I mean, your roster is depleted, but people don't give you a pass, do they, Dad? It's just win. They don't want to hear about it. Just win. And to me, that's kind of frustrating because these guys are missing a lot of players.
Well, you go through with key players, losing them, and it's they're hanging in there best they can defensively. They just don't have enough offensive power.
They had a kid miss a routine fly ball last night in right field, cost them the game.
I saw that. I felt so bad for him.
I didn't see that.
They're killing this kid. Look up the kid's name. They're killing him on social media. I mean, the guy feels terrible about it. He's running over there. He's going to make the catch. He just overruns the ball over in right field, and they end up scoring to win the game. Even Jenny's like, oh my gosh, you got to make that high school guys make this catch. And this guy is just getting murdered on social media right now.
Yeah, his name is Ramon Laureano.
Yeah, Laureano, that's right. He is getting, if you put his name in X right now and hit search, I hope he's not doing that, because a lot of people, and I think you say this all the time, because he missed that ball, a lot of people lost money, because the Mets ended up winning the game, due to that. So, but there's just a lot of injuries there for, those guys. Then how would you handle if you were college football coach and you get the extra 20 scholarships there? Would you go find some kids that would just be happy to be at Alabama? Maybe go through the state here. Some guys that just grew up wanting it, that will be okay being a scout team guy. I mean, you can't get too many of those guys, but would you?
I think you could get some. I think you have to be darn careful with, of course, I'm a big believer in mental stuff. How they are when they get there mentally, what they're willing to do for you if they get there. Are they willing to work without playing? That kind of thing. I think you have to be careful. Of course, I'm a little bit different. People, as I always said, mental and physical, what 3 is to 1. So I think it's big.
Well, I just think if you went to some of these areas where kids don't normally get recruited, you took a kid out of there and you explained to him, hey, look, you're going to have some opportunity, but we're going to bring you in to be a scout team guy. Now, if you prove to be more than that, and they are okay with that role coming in, then maybe they know up front exactly where they stand.
You can get that over to them, and their families understand it, because the people next door are saying, I thought your guy was going to be playing.
Yeah.
And it comes back to haunt you with phone calls to the mother. It just does. The things that we talk about on this radio show, when you get onto the staff meetings of these coaches, and the numbers count, and who can come on, who can't, it is a little bit more complicated thing that we talk about.
Yeah, if I were like a walk-on at Alabama right now, football, I would be working my tail off. I'd be trying to catch that coach's eye, because he's going to have an increase in scholarships, and if I'm going to be around, I'm going to get me one of those scholarships based on my work ethic and my attitude and all that. There's a great opportunity for a guy who's paying his own way to school.
Let's go over our total in football, regardless of whether it's walk-on or anything. For these listeners who just occasionally tune in, it's 105. Is that correct?
Not this year. They can go up to 100. They have 85 on scholarship. And don't quote me on this. I think they can go as high as 115. Now, how many guys they can take on the road with them? There's limitations on that. How many guys they can dress at home? But I think let's just use a number, and I may
go to 115.
Yeah, but only 85 are on scholarship.
Yeah. So
you got So next year it's going to be 105, and so they can all be on scholarship if Kalen DeBoer and Greg Byrne.
All right, go back over again how this partial lays into this.
So let's say that Alabama just says we're going to give 85 fulls, but we just don't have the money to pay for 20 more scholarships. We have some, but not fulls. So I'll tell you what, you got 20, and this may be for a UAB or somebody like that. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 20 of tuitions. You can give them tuition. They're going to have to pay for their own housing and all that, but you could do that. But you can't go past 105. So if you want to give 20 of them just tuition, then it helps your budget a little bit. They're going to have to pay a little bit out of pocket. It helps them a little bit, but you can't go past 105. So that's to help a South Alabama or Middle Tennessee that cannot afford.
All right, can I give 20 of them housing, but they'll pay the tuition?
Yeah, if I want to do that, I give it whatever I want.
I'm interested as the coach in knowing where they live, who they're with, all these kinds of things. They've made enough money to come close to paying their tuition. You can do it like that then? You
could give them like a housing. They have there's a formula they give, like for these guys that live off campus, they give them a check. They get a check every semester, every month to pay their rent. So it's not, they get X number of dollars. They go get their place. Some of them may go get a place that's a little cheaper than what they're actually getting. Some may get places more expensive. So you can use partials. Now, you used to couldn't do that in football and basketball. You're either getting it all or nothing. But my understanding now, that's to try to help. They can still get to the same number. They just may not have everybody on full scholarship.
I'm going to get I don't know. Well, he wouldn't probably. I started to say I might get Garth on here, but Garth is interested in the injuries reports and also the gambling. I don't know if he would be able to help us there or not.
It's just going to be interesting how these coaches do these rosters, like baseball. How many pitchers? Sure how many pitchers are you going to take if you're baseball? When you're stuck at 34. These guys are used to bringing in 60 guys, and then they could only have 40, so they would cut 20 of them in December. Are you going to you can't bring those 60 guys in and put them on fulls. So how are you going to do that? So if you bring 34 guys and you put them on fulls, then you better.
So what's the total number for fulls on baseball?
34.
Fulls?
Yeah.
So what about walk-offs?
Well, they can use, there is none. You can't go past 34. So they may say, hey, I'm going to give you 34 fulls. Hey, Rob Vaughn, you got or they could say, All right, you got 17 fulls, and that's it. But you can get 34 guys out of 17 fulls if you want to, but you could go to 34 if your school had the budget to do it.
So there is absolutely no walk-ons in basketball.
You can only have 15.
After the 15, there's no walk-on.
No. Now, you could say, hey, we're only going to give you 12 scholarships. You can have 3 walk-ons, but...
All right, I got 3 guys that hurt. I need somebody to do something with, but one of my managers can play as a player. Can I bump him out there?
My understanding is no. But you got 15.
I understand, but you get things that go wrong for you sometimes. 2 guys quit, 1 guy's hurt, and of course that'd be below 15 if 2 guys quit. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, it's but like you could take walk on now. Like if Nate Oates has 13, if he's got some walk ons over there, if he had 5 guys get hurt or whatever, he could go get a walk on and bring him on. But
and one of your kids over there walking on?
Yeah, he's over there as a walk on. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to him next year. My understanding is either he has to be one of the 15. He'll have to find somewhere to go, unless I'm wrong about that. All right, we'll take the break here. We got Tom Holden. We got some Jalen Milroe sound. We got some Dabo Sweeney sound.
Medical legislation now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room, 205-342-9904. Get to the Yellowwood hotline. Get Tom in. Good morning, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Morning, Barry. Morning, Coach. How are y'all?
Did we hear from you yesterday, Tom?
No, I was thinking about that. I call generally every day, but if others are calling, I just kind of back out, let somebody else call for a change because I like to have a lot of people, and then we hadn't heard anything from Joe, and I don't know when, so he called yesterday. I was glad of that. And but I just I chilled yesterday and listen to everybody else. I thought it was really good.
Good. I didn't make you mad, so if I didn't make you mad,
Barry, how can my favorite radio show make me mad? I'm like Philip. I look forward to it every day. I really enjoy it. I can't believe y'all that doesn't come through in my speech.
I just know me and Kevin make you mad. That's all right, though. What you got?
No, you don't.
What you got this morning?
I disagree.
What you got?
Well, I was wanting to get in on the conversation of the scholarship thing. I don't understand it.
All right.
The lot doesn't add up to me.
Okay.
I'm thankful for baseball. I really am, because I think baseball is up and coming in popularity in the SEC. It's the best brand of baseball at the collegiate level, and it's rivaling pro to me. But
I think it's great for baseball, but I do think it puts some pressure on these coaches. Now, Tom, like Alabama or Auburn could get a guy that UAB wanted because they were going to have to pay at either place. When they would bring 60 guys in there, Auburn bringing 50 guys in there. Well, when it gets to the season, they got to cut 10 of them. Well, and they're all not getting full scholarship. Well, now if you only can give 34 full scholarships, you better hit it right. They're just taking so many guys down and basically having tryouts while the school year is going on. Well, I don't think you can do that anymore. So you got 34 there. You better hit it right. And of course,
I didn't know they had tryouts for the 11.7. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, like you had 32, they're getting some money. Say a guy's getting $10,000 or whatever. So they're spreading that over 32 guys. Plus they could have 8 walk-ons. So that puts them at 40. So they've trimmed that to 34. A lot of these guys were bringing in 55 guys. A guy would rather go walk on and pay his own way. Hey, he's getting some academic money or whatever. Those days are kind of gone. So it's about to get even more elite to be one of those 34 that's getting that full scholarship.
I did not understand how it worked. I was in the complete dark on that, but you know, I'm just John Q. fan. When they throw that number out there of the increase in scholarship, I go, great. I'm glad to hear that. And maybe Alabama and Auburn, you know, will be at a competitive level because of that. But I didn't know
they are. It does really help Alabama and Auburn because, like, a kid from Alabama could go to Mississippi State and get in-state tuition in baseball, so that's a lot cheaper. Well, now they can get the full scholarship. It's not a big deal either way. But they also, you know, these collectives on top of the scholarship. So it's going to be. I don't think you're going to see as many baseball guys jump in the portal when they're getting a full scholarship. If they're actually getting the full one at Alabama, Auburn, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, all these places, they're not going to leave that on the table.
Yeah. I'm enlightened this morning on that. I'm starting to understand a little bit more about baseball that I didn't know anything about. But you know, Coach brought up the $20 million yesterday. He threw that figure out there that Ohio State paid in NIL last year, and but you know, the year before, Coach Day and I think they changed athletic directors, didn't Boyd go from A&M to Ohio State?
Yes.
Ross Bjork. Yeah, Bjork. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about tennis. The previous athletic director and Coach Day went around, and Coach Day come out and made the statement 2 years ago, we're going to have $13 million just to keep who we got on roster. Remember that statement?
I don't know if you listened closely to JC yesterday, but he called it the cage animal syndrome.
Yeah.
And he's right about that. When Michigan won the next national championship, Ohio State was a caged animal. They're like, forget that. We'll do whatever it takes.
He's right. Nick Saban was a caged animal hire.
That's
because
right.
Auburn was Tuberville was laying it to our rear end, holding up the thumb and everything else, and we were pissed about it. And we went and done something about it.
That's true, though. It's true.
It is true. It's called competition, but the caged animal comment was one of the. I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row. JC's come up with some classic stuff. Nick Saban belonging to everybody, and then this week the caged animal
syndrome.
Comment. This two outstanding comments. But anyway, you know, and now they're up to $20 million on their payroll. And but let me ask you something. 105 football players. They've been making it with 85, plus a few walk-ons. I think maybe 15 walk-ons. I mean, how does that go? They're leaving like flies anyway because they're not getting playing time. And then, and now you got NIL involved in that. I mean, it's going to be coming and going like a Greyhound bus station. And I don't understand this at all. Nobody in football, it doesn't benefit anybody because nobody wants to wait to play anymore.
Well, Dad, I don't know what your thoughts are. I think it hurts the UABs and those kind of people getting guys because if you take 105, I mean, so you take 105 and 16 SEC schools, that's 20 more scholarships. I don't have a calculator here in front of me, but 16 times 20, that's a lot of guys. And if those guys would rather go to a Power 5 school than they go to a mid-major. So I think it's going to hurt those guys. Don't you?
Yeah, probably so. I don't know. We're in a situation where I just sit here and let it see how it comes out.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's crazy to me, though. It just I don't see how it benefits anybody. I really don't. And then basketball, I'm worried about basketball. Okay, you can have more people on the roster. And at the end of the year, look at them. they fly out of here like a flock of birds. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't. The continuity, the development, all like that. I don't get where we're going with all this.
Well, I think they're trying to give more opportunity.
Hey, let me ask you this. Now, you did say yesterday, I believe it was you that said that in football or maybe even basketball, you go to, this would help the high school because you go to them and you say, look, we believe eventually you'll be able to play at the level that we want you to, but you come in, we'll give you a scholarship and you develop for a couple years. Didn't you not say that? Don't you?
Yeah,
you say
I hope that's how they use it and don't just go get another portal guy that's already played 3 years. You know, when you only have 13, that's one thing. But when you get to 15 now, and you can have 15 guys, and I hope they will go dip into the high school ranks and take more high school kids and explain to them on the front end, hey, we're going to bring you in and make red shirt you.
Right. That's what I thought I heard.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Do you think it'll be a number of kids that will say, you know what, if I can see a light at the end of the tunnel in my development, you think they think that far ahead at 18?
I think all the kids, Dad can tell you better than me, they all want to play at the highest level, and they'll buy into that. They'll look at the story of, Hunter Renfrow. They'll look at the story of, who's the quarterback, Georgia, that did that, Stetson Bennett, and they'll all think that's going to be their story. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to prove them wrong. The kid that was drafted out of baseball from Georgia, he redshirted his first year. He had no offers, got there, and then he was second or third pick in the draft. So they'll all want to do that. They'll get there and then they'll figure it out if they can ever make it or not. And if they don't, then they'll transfer down. So,
well, see, I'm wondering about Ty Simpson. A lot of people are saying Ty had a great spring. Halfway through spring, he really came on, was showing a lot of promise, shows a lot of promise for the future. Jalen, everybody's thinking Jalen's going to leave after this year, probably will. And then Ty is, I got one more question. Am I out of time?
No,
I
you're
need
good.
to get off.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Ty is banking on starting when Jalen leaves. And if the year that he has after Jalen leaves, now this is him. I'm not saying it's going to work like that, but in his mind, if he has the year that he thinks he can have in that system, then he'll go to the draft. But all he's thinking is, I just need one good year in college, and the pros are so desperate for quarterbacks, they'll draft me. And I think that's part of it, to your point there. Do you agree with that?
I think he looks at Mac Jones and sees Mac.
Daniel, what's his name with Duke?
Yeah, he waited his turn. I don't think Ty Simpson's waited. Now, if he were to get beat out next year or something, then yeah, he'd be gone. But he's thinking, like if Jalen gets
think about both of them. Better think about Keelan Russell.
You don't think a freshman? Well,
yeah, we've heard that before, though, Coach, hadn't we? We've heard.
This kid
Alabama's the guy that's on the.
Yeah, Alabama's going to continue to get studs in recruiting.
That's it.
He's a running, throwing quarterback. He plays right into the style that Kalen DeBoer plays.
So does Ty. People don't think Ty.
I hope Ty gets it, makes it. I'm just saying that I just threw.
But he's a runner too.
Yeah,
he's an outstanding runner. He just hadn't done it.
Ty's great. I hope he get. Ty deserves a real shot because he stayed a long time.
Yeah,
I think they're going to give it to him.
If I were Ty, I would sit here. If Jalen Milroe, God forbid, gets hurt, then he's going to get his opportunity. If he doesn't, keep his head on, work, get to, next, whatever, spring in the summer, and then I would have to be assured that I was going to be the starter, to come back, or then I would. And he's earned that waiting here now. If he wasn't, then he probably
earned it, and he's gotten past, of course, Milroe's past him, but with bringing this other guy in there, all this yak about him, I think it makes it more difficult on Ty. I hope I'm wrong.
I think there's some conversations that go on that we don't give credit to, but My last question is this to both of you. At Alabama, Coach Saban always had a good relationship with the NFL scout. Now, I believe that Coach Oates has that kind of relationship with basketball scouts. And I tell you what, it's not like that you're practicing and performing at the practice facility in obscurity. People are seeing you, and they know you all during the process, right or wrong.
Oh yeah, they know these. Well, they know these kids that are coming in. They've seen them. They go to all these. The kids that they sign, those scouts are watching all these events that they're at. And I tell you what, Alabama does really well, and I think Dad had this as well. They have a terrific strength coach with Nate Oates. Henry Barrera is his name. His son played point guard for me. Unfortunately, he's going to a boarding school in Virginia. I just lost him, which I'm not happy about. But Henry's not leaving. But Henry is terrific with these guys, and you can see their bodies changing. They got all the technology. They got all the stuff that they need. And they have all these guys here this summer. These guys are adding good weight, more athletic ability. They do develop these guys when they bring them in, for sure.
Why is he going to a boarding school?
Eyes on kids that practice. They get that too, don't they?
Yes.
See you. I love the show.
Thank you, Tom. Anyway. All right, we'll take the break here. It's 205-342-9904. You listen to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Southbound Highway 69 from Mid-Larry Road to McFarland. That's clocking in at 6 minutes. Continuing further south along Lurling Wallace down to 15th Street. Just a 4-minute drive there. No big problems along 2059. Moving at an 8-minute clip if you're traveling eastbound from Foster's to McFarland and westbound from Cottondale to the I-359 as well. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Friday edition of The Game, we're going to do our Free For All Friday, sponsored by Brian Harden Construction. We'll also talk with Brent Beard. We're going to take your phone calls, your reaction, the final Friday before practice starts at the University of Alabama. Join us starting at 2 p.m. here on The Game on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports program.
Our most powerful fat incinerator ever to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text ROCKY to 42424. That's Rocky to 42424.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance and is backed by an entire team of people you know and trust. Rent a Toyota and let's go places. Reserving yours is a breeze at TuscaloosaToyota.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A warm day today with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. The chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms mainly this afternoon and this evening. The high today 88, the low tonight 72. Tomorrow partly sunny, a few scattered storms around. The high 89. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Stay up to date with the Crimson Tide. Local high school sports and Bama in the pros right here on Tide 100.9.
Yellowwood pressure treated pine from Great Southern. They brought you the 7 o'clock hour. Always remember, if it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. But I do think, though, one position to come in and start as a freshman quarterback, that's pretty difficult, right? The terminology, the blocking assignments, the play calling, all the things that go into being a quarterback at the SEC level. You think a guy like Keelan Russell could come in and?
If he's as good as they say he is, he's going to be a real asset to Alabama because he's the kind of guy that plays the kind of way I think a coach wants to play, downfield passing game and looking runner pack because he can run what it was. And I don't want Ty Simpson to be knocked out of anything because he's really been a good person. And the big thing about him is he stayed with the program. Yeah, you don't ever hear him complaining. You know, everybody got down on him in the South Alabama game when they nobody played very hard or very well, and the quarterback situations weren't very good that day, and so everybody got all worked up about it. But which is not necessary, but they do. That's the way people are. So we'll see.
Well, you got Jalen Milroe. He's a redshirt junior, so he actually could come back. You're thinking this guy's going to have a good year. He's going to go to the draft. You got Austin Mack, the kid they brought with them from Washington's a freshman. Dylan Lonergan is a redshirt freshman, so he used up no eligibility. He was a baseball player. He has not yet to go over there. Ty Simpson is a redshirt sophomore. And then you got two other guys, I guess, for backup scout team, Cade Caruth and John Cooper. But it's kind of like the Manning. He's going to wait his time, and then next year he should take over the reins. Right now, you'd be very frustrated if you were Ty Simpson's parents or whatever, and if Alabama went to the portal and brought in some portal quarterback to bring it, you wouldn't do that, right? To these guys.
Well, that's it's almost sort of what you look at to see. I think you just say to yourself, is that happening? I don't say it is. I say to myself, is that happening? Is this guy, is this going to be a situation that we didn't realize was going to turn out to be this way? I'm not saying it is. I hope it's not, because I think as Thomas said, I think Ty deserves the opportunity. He's hung in there, and he's a good person and good player from what I can gather. So we'll see.
Yeah, you hope he gets the first opportunity. And then, man, when you get out there, Chase, as we all know, you got to do the job. You got to perform. If you don't, then somebody's coming. So somebody's always nipped at your heels, and you always bring great players in here. So that requires these guys to keep working, and they get better in practice, because a lot of times the players they play against in practice here at Alabama are better than the ones they're going to play in the game. So that's where you get better. All right, we'll take the top of the hour break. We'll hear from Jalen Milroe. When we get back, also open up the phone.
No matter how high the mercury rises, call Aux Home Services today at 205-979-0946 or visit auxhomeservices.com. WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
In Major League Baseball games of note, the Padres shut out the Nationals 3-0 as San Diego starter Dylan Cease threw the second no-hitter in franchise history. 9 innings, no runs, no hits, 9 strikeouts, 3 walks through 114 pitches. And San Diego moves a half game in front of the idle St. Louis Cardinals for the final wildcard spot in the National League. Dodgers defeat the Giants 6-4. Clayton Kershaw in his season debut for LA, coming off of shoulder surgery, through 72 pitches, 4 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, and a no decision. Shohei Ohtani hit his 31st home run of the year for LA as the NL West leaders took 3 of 4 in the series from San Francisco. Guardians on top of the AL Central, shut out by the Tigers 3-0. Orioles leading the AL East were 7-6 winners over the Marlins in 10 innings. And the Mets get by the Braves 3-2 in 10. New York wins it on a misplayed fly ball in the outfield. Mets are a half game back of Atlanta for the number 1 wildcard spot in the National League.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to the second hour of Inside the Locker Room. Allstate Insurance agent Andrew Kniffer. He's my agent. Let Andrew become yours. Out at 4705 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 3 over in Northport. Don't just pay your bill. Know what you're paying. Let Andrew run a quote for you for home, life, auto, whatever you need. there. His staff will do a great job for you. They can get everything moved over for you. 205-722-9201. Andrew Kniffer, Allstate Insurance. All right. Jalen Milroe's been up in New York. I guess he's on kind of the media tour. Do we know what he's doing, Dad? I mean, is this something that was set up by Alabama? Well, how was all this? He's been up on ESPN, been on CBS Morning Show, just been everywhere there. What is this NIL related? I wonder what all this is about.
I don't really know what it's related. I'm a little bit surprised that he's staying gone that long, but we'll see.
All right, well, he was on the CBS Morning Show talking about why he decided to stay and the transition from Coach Saban to Coach DeBoer. Let's hear what Jalen Milroe had to say about it.
Our next guest is one of the top college quarterbacks in the country. The University of Alabama's Jalen Milroe is widely considered a Heisman Trophy contender. Last season, under legendary head coach Nick Saban, you know that name, Milroe helped guide the Crimson Tide to an SEC Conference Championship. Now heading into his senior year, Milroe is preparing for the 2024 season under a new head coach. Jalen Milroe joins us now, live from Times Square. What's up, baby? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm around great people right now, so I'm enjoying the moment.
Oh, thanks, man. Keep the compliments coming. Let's talk about your success because you've had so much of it. I mentioned the SEC title. What's the mindset going into this season, especially now with the new coach?
I think the biggest thing we have to do initially is flip the page from 2023 and now the 2024 season. Okay. We're setting short-term goals and long-term goals. Once you have goals, that's how you can really push towards something in a direction. And so as players on the team, we seek advice from our head coach, from Coach DeBoer, who's leading us in a great position, successful this year. But the biggest thing we have to do is take care of right now, the process of now. That mentality, each and every day, trying to compete, work hard, the one-and-oh mentality. Coach DeBoer talks about relentless pursuit to continuous improvement. And once he put that in position, I said, man, like, what a great opportunity each day to seize every opportunity that we have because, one thing about time, you can't get it back. Yeah. So each day we go into the facility, try to be 1-0 each and every day.
So you're quoting Coach DeBoer already, so clearly you guys are connected.
Oh, absolutely.
But Nick Saban was there for 17 years. I presume he recruited you there, right? He put you into a starting position. What was that transition like? What was the news like when you heard he was leaving?
I would say, it was awesome. It was crazy. Initially to see the retirement, Coach Saban is the greatest coach of all time, and he recruited me to Alabama. So to have the years of 3 years being around someone to now the retirement, it was wild for us as a whole. Yeah. But when you talk about life after football, you got to talk about life after coaching. So what a great opportunity for him. To now step into a different role as a head coach, now get into what he's doing now.
Start the rest of his life.
Right. That's awesome for him. Yeah. And then also to be around a direction that he's still around sports. Yeah. Which is awesome. Sure. That's his passion. That's his drive. So, no doubt. I'm supportive of that. But the transition has been awesome. Yeah. With having Coach DeBoer, just lead us and just getting to know him. Yeah.
A lot of your teammates left Alabama after Saban left. Why did you decide to stay?
I'm big on goals. Setting short-term goals, long-term goals. My initial goal coming into college, beyond any play on the field, was getting my degree in 3 years. And I was able to achieve that this past December.
Wow.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What did you get your degree in?
Business management with a concentration in entrepreneurship.
Wow.
Okay. And now you're pursuing your master's.
So now I'm pursuing my master's degree.
In?
And sports management.
Sorry, I sound like a parent.
What do you hope to do with it?
I love that. Adriana mentioned guys leaving. Some leave for different reasons because of coaching, better opportunities. Some leave for now NIL deals, name, image, likeness. It has changed the landscape of college sports. It has kind of blurred the amateur status. And you're one of those guys that have benefited from that. I feel like there's a ton of pros when it comes to the positives of NIL deals, but there are also some cons. Yeah. Can you break down those two things for me?
Absolutely. NIL is a great introductory to being financially literate. I think that's very important as athletes is understanding the money. And we have an introduction to that with NIL. And it's all about building your brand. Athletes do a really good job bringing in a lot of revenue to universities. Yeah. So now I have the opportunity to, build a brand for yourself and make the most out of name, image, and likeness. What a great opportunity in itself. Yeah. And players have been doing a really good job with that. Yeah. All a part of the moment and stuff like that. So it's been awesome.
All right. Well, Jalen.
There was Jalen Milroe. Dad, just your thoughts about what
I think he's sounds like he's got his head on him well. He comes over very, very well.
Yeah.
He has improved a great deal in not only his play but his demeanor with the press. So he's just a guy that's grown from having a chance to play and playing, and then being able to converse with people and tell them what's happened. I thought he's excellent. I think he's excellent.
Yeah, he does a great job of representing his family, also the University of Alabama. And it's what a great recruiting tool, man. You go and say, man, if you're the starting quarterback at Alabama, you're going to be nationally known. You'll be in New York. You can be in New York. You can be on CBS. The things that come with being the quarterback at Alabama. I would say probably the two most popular people in the state of Alabama are probably the head football coach and the quarterback. If he's playing well, I would think that Jalen Milroe's right up there as the most popular guy in the state, athlete in the state, right now.
Yeah. I think what he's done is, just enhanced his opportunity to go to the pros. I think he'll be. I think the one big thing too, they hired somebody that pretty much plays in theory the way he can play. I think, and I don't think last year's offensive coordinator was bad. Everybody else does, but me, I don't think it was. But they all, had the last play worked, he'd be a genius.
One of the other things I heard is I think the guys that have been here and the guys that have left, I hear Christian Miller talk about it all the time. I think they have tremendous respect for Coach Saban because of his work ethic. I think they respected him so much by how hard he worked, and I think they're actually glad that he's going to have an opportunity, maybe not to have to grind quite as hard. He's still going to work hard, but not grind. He can. And there's no pressure involved with just getting on ESPN and talking. That's something that he knows. I think they're kind of relieved for him, but they have a lot of respect for the program that he built, the discipline that he instilled in them, and then his work ethic. You can hear the respect come out of their voices.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just past experience with him has meant a lot to them, and they would hate to see him leave, but at the same time, they're, I think, excited that Caden's come in and really done a good job of convincing these guys, not convincing them, but practicing a little bit different, doing things a little bit different. I think it's helped.
Yeah,
I think changing a little bit from things that you've done, and you feel like it's for the better. Morning practice is a different music at the practice sessions. It's going to be interesting to see. Now, his wife and kids better hide out if Georgia comes in and beats them. They need to not listen to the radio or TV, but that's just the way it is at Alabama, I guess.
One of the great things Coach did, we'll see if they keep this tradition. Man, he brought in some big time speakers to speak to this football team. I wonder if when you talk about Kobe Bryant and the people that he's brought in here to speak to these guys, I think Michael Jordan spoke to them. He's brought in guys that have had problems and fought their way back. I thought that was a great deal there. You think, Coach DeBoer, would you keep that same deal going?
Maybe occasionally. He'll get ideas from Coach, and he'll do some of them. He won't overdo them. He probably won't do as much every year as Coach did, but he sort of knows what Coach has done, but he also going to do part of it his way. So,
yeah. All right, we'll take the break here. We'll see if Coach Sonny Smith's going to join us. We also got Dabo Sweeney sound. We'll play that when he breaks down having 105 scholarship guys, where he thinks the pros and cons that Tuscaloosa Toyota. Go to TuscaloosaToyota.com, man. That 2024, I'm looking at that Toyota Tundra, 1.99 APR for 36 months. This is an absolutely beautiful truck. They got the Toyota Camry. They got the 2025s already on the lot, 3.99 APR for 36 months. The RAV4, the hottest selling Toyota out there, 2.99 for 36 months. That Toyota Highlander, they call it the Grand Highlander. A little more room there. Great SUV. 3.99 APR. The Corollas. All the trucks, all the used cars they got out there as well. You go to the website, TuscaloosaToyota.com. You can schedule service, rent a Toyota, and look at all the inventory they have on the lot. Swing by today. Tell Justin that Wimp and Barry sent you. Listen to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. No big problems on the board as it's been a very pleasant Friday morning drive, at least so far. 2059 from Foster's to Cottondale is moving well. Lurling Wallace coming down from Northport, crossing the Hugh Thomas Bridge up to the University exit here at posted speed.
Experience the wow factor. Contact Shoot Masonry and Specialties at 205-887-3807 today and unleash your home's full potential.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A warm day today with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. The chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms mainly this afternoon and this evening. The high today 88, the low tonight 72. Tomorrow partly sunny, a few scattered storms around, the high 89. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry, only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. You're right to the Yellowwood Hotline. Get in our favorite coach, Coach Sonny Smith. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Hey, Sonny.
I'm good. Hope you guys are.
We're good.
What's happening? I guess we'll get the NASCAR with you to start with. What's happening?
Don't have any NASCAR news that would be outstanding. The only thing about NASCAR right now is the guys running up front have turned into about 3 or 4 different guys. Joey Logano's running really well up front, and he's become a threat to win the whole thing, and that's something kind of new. Chase Elliott is still always up near the top and running extremely well, and the thing right now is staying out of wrecks, getting down towards the end, and if you want to win the championship, you don't want to be taken out early. And they haven't had a lot of major wrecks to take out people lately. And it's NASCAR's healthy. Everything's going really well.
Okay.
What about football getting ready to get started down at Auburn? Hugh Freeze's second year. What a realistic expectation. 5 straight home games there. I would think to get off to a 5-0 start would be a great deal there. Just what are the expectations of this football team for 2020?
I think, Barry, the figure that I'm hearing more than any is got to win at least 7.
Okay.
And I think they're fully capable. I know they're guaranteed for probably 5, as you would say. But what's going to happen from that point on? Can they win 2 others? To get it up to 7 or maybe 8. I don't know if they're that good. They could be that good. They talk a lot about the quarterback situation, and I don't know if it's as solid as they're saying, but I think they seem to think that that's a solid position, and if it is, I think that they're going to be good. Yeah. They don't build expectations around here, but just talking with everybody and reading the newspaper and listening to talk. A lot of people are picking 7 to 8 wins.
Yeah.
Sonny, I know you don't keep up with this much, and I don't know as much about it as Barry does, but they're increasing the basketball scholarships from 13 to the 15, but you're not going to be allowed to have walk-ons.
Bruce is a
how are you and Barry looking at that? Did you looking at that as a negative or a positive?
I have never liked for him to go to 13. Personally, I'd always wanted the 15.
Yeah, me too.
So we get the 15 back, but the only problem is that if you've got a walk-on that you want to take a look at, that you think's capable of playing, its parents pay their way to the university or wherever.
He's got a count?
You can't bring him in because
you're limited to 15.
You're limited to 15, and you can't bring in another player if he were to be there to come in and try out. You can't have a separate. I think Barry, you couldn't have a separate practice where you brought 10 guys in and let them try out, could you, Barry?
Yeah, well, you used to work them out a little bit. I don't know. I thought they stopped that earlier, but I think it used to be a kind of a workout policy to bring them in.
You can bring
them in. You can bring them in and work them out, but when the season starts, you're limited to 15. Now, you don't have to put. If you only want to put 13 on scholarship, you could have 2 walk-ons and let them pay their own way, but you can't go past that 15. So you can bring in as many guys as you want, but only 15 can be on the roster when it gets time to play.
Yeah. Can you practice 15?
I got
only 15. Okay,
you can't practice them. No, you could. I think there's whenever official practice starts, you have to be at your 15. So you can have some in there and try to see who you want to keep as your other 2 or 3, and then eventually give them a scholarship. But you can go to 15 scholarships. Yeah. Now, I wouldn't think every SEC team, I don't think any athletic director is going to say, Coach, well, we only have the money for your 13, so you're going to have to. I think everybody's going to give them 15.
But you're not limited to the number you can have on the squad as long as you're walk-ons.
No, you're limited to 15. 15. But it's at a certain time when the season starts that you got to have that roster to 15. If you want to put 15 guys on scholarship, what I'm hoping, Coach, is that it will make these guys maybe recruit some more high school kids. Maybe, hey, be honest with the kids. Say, hey, we're going to bring you in, develop you, maybe redshirt you. And they may give another kid a scholarship like that instead of just taking so many portal guys. Maybe try to bring in some younger kids.
Can you do it like this, Barry? Could you come in with 13? Could you have a tryout away from the 13 that practiced with 10 or 12 guys and tell them that the 2 guys you liked out of that 10 could be put on scholarship the second semester?
Yes.
I think you could do that. Wouldn't you think so, Barry?
I think you could do that, but when official practice starts, you got to be at your 15. So if you want to have those guys in September, however much you can get on the court, I'm pretty sure you can look at them. But when you start practice, official practice or whatever, whenever the games, you got to be at 15. So those guys would just. So
you're not going to be able to have a scout squad.
Yeah, where Bruce Pearl, he had 7 or 8 guys. They really weren't in there watching film. They weren't even going to dress out. They were just on practice and running. You can't do that anymore. They did run the other team's plays and have them all set up and come out there. I've seen them do that before. Yeah. So that's out now.
All that stuff's changed, Sonny.
Not this season, but next
season. Do you guys go with that one?
I'm fine with it if they will recruit some high school kids. I wish they would cap the portal and say, all right, over a 2-year period in this sport, you can take X number of portal guys, but only this many over a 2-year period to force these guys to start taking some of these high school kids and quit just going straight portal. To give these kids an opportunity to get to college.
Sonny, I don't know if you realize it. The recruiting that you and I did and going to see games and so forth is pretty much, gone now. The high school kid, they're all looking at the transfer portal every morning they wake up, and the high school kids are being overlooked, Sonny.
I noticed that. What is the future for them? Prep schools, junior colleges? What do you think?
I guess, people are saying now, don't turn your nose up on Division II, junior college. And if you're good enough, you see these guys in baseball, whatever, go junior college and go basketball now. If you're really good, then you can get in the portal, go prove yourself, and then try to get to the higher level. But
that probably would be the way.
Yeah. So seems like it's the only way now.
Yeah. The only way might be a better answer.
So anyway, the Olympics are getting started here. Our Olympic basketball team, they've had some close games. Why is it difficult when you just throw all these all-stars on one team? These guys that are probably all the leading scorers on their team. You just put them all together. It doesn't ever seem to work great, Coach. Why is that? Just because their roles are so different when you put them on a team where everybody can score?
Well, I think the problem is exactly what you're saying. You can't get a guy to come in and play for you and change his role.
Yeah.
Change what he did when he was playing the regular season. Change what he's doing when he's playing the pro schedule. Come in there and become a point guard when he's a guy that's been shooting the ball as much. So I think you got to be really selective on who you take on guys who can play maybe two positions, that type of thing. And if you to take care of that, because you're not going to get a guy to change his game just to play the Olympics. Now you could be a guy would do it just to make that team, but there's so many people now that they could choose to make the team that that type of thing wouldn't work like it used to.
Yeah. We got a presidential race going on right now, Coach. There's a lot of politics going on. A lot of lying in politics. Would you agree to that? A lot of these politicians lie.
Yeah.
What is the biggest lie that Dad told in recruiting, or when you guys were going against each other? He was kind of like a politician. What was maybe one of the biggest lies that he told?
Son is in trouble down there. He cheats and he's going to get on probation. You come to my place and you come to my place. We never get on probation here because we never do anything.
So I
think that was the number one thing. Always accuse me of cheating. Now, Barry, you know me, Barry. You know I wouldn't do that.
You were just giving. You were trying to.
Did they call me Clean Gene, or was that some other coach in the league? I can't remember.
They call Bartow Clean Gene.
I mean, the guy needed a pair of shoes. You were just trying to get him a pair of shoes. That wasn't cheating. That was.
Oh no! But some of those shoes would go all the way up to your knees. It'd be boots.
So he kept saying,
cost a lot more to get those boots. Where we used to that place over in Georgia, we used to go get shoes real cheap.
Bremen.
Go to Bremen and get your shoes. You don't have to pay too much for those. Especially if you get an Auburn guy in there passing them out, you didn't have to pay too much anything.
So you'd send the recruits over there so they go over and see?
Oh, no. I'd go over there for them. I wouldn't want to put them out using gas to get over there.
You just need to know what size they wore.
Yeah, just get the size, man.
So
go into the home and say, boy, you got good-looking shoes. What size you wear?
So he would tell recruits that you were on the hot seat and that you weren't going to be there.
Wimp would tell me, he'd tell him ahead of time. He said, son's not going to be around there much longer. You better come on down here to Alabama. I'm over here to Alabama.
Did Sonny ever tell any lies?
No.
I don't know. I can't remember.
There was three of us there. Did you hear that, Barry? Three of us.
I can't. I'm not sure that.
Wimp and I, we recruited against each other legally and honest.
Yeah.
I'd tell him how much I was going to give, and he'd say, "Well, I'm going to top that." I think that's the way it was. I can't remember it. My memory's gone, Barry.
Yeah.
But seriously, can y'all imagine now you're trying to recruit a guy and he's telling you, well, I'm going to get this much NIL at Alabama, and you don't know whether the guy's telling you the truth or not. You don't know whether to beat it, or I guess it depends on how good he is. These guys that are really good, they got a lot of power, don't they, Coach?
That's true. Let me ask you this. Who do you think is the best NIL league in the, not league, well, maybe even league in college sports?
I think Ohio State's get paying out the most right now, it sounds like to me.
They really are?
Yeah.
Well, I hate to see those guys get legal up there. They're going to start losing.
Well, Michigan winning last year really affected them some, see.
It'll affect you for sure.
Yeah, so it's
All right, we had a lot of talk, I think it was yesterday, about guys that are committed. So a guy commits, and then you look up, and of course, social media now, you know where everybody's going. So if a guy's committed to you, Coach, were you okay with him taking other visits? You look up and he's visiting somewhere else. I would be scratching my head saying, wait a minute, I thought he was committed. I know they got Big Cat weekend this weekend. There was one Alabama kid that was supposed to come. Now he's saying he's not going. Would you allow your guys to visit even after committed?
I had to hang on to them, but I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Because, until you got them, you ain't got them.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And so I didn't like that. But there wasn't any way you might lose him and turn him down, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Turn him down on taking another visit, say, that's all right with me. I would try to talk him out of it because I've had scholarships turned on me on the last week. He's thinking they're coming to your place, and Wimp has probably had that too. You have too, Barry.
But think how difficult it is now. If they go visit, there's no cap on the NIL. So whatever school's, so I would be scared to death. A guy goes down there and visits, and they get, as one of our guests says, cage animal syndrome. They got to have the guy, so they go get some more money. They could get these guys' attention. It's never over now.
It's never over because it's halfway legal now.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's becoming a legality type thing. You never got the kid. So before, you could, if you were not opposed to it, you could up the price after you found out somebody else was giving them a little bit more. You might have to change your recruiting philosophy a little bit, but that's not the case anymore.
No doubt. All right, Coach, you gonna watch some Westerns this weekend?
No, I'm going to watch the Olympics. I'm a true American, man. I'm a true American. If I can understand what sport they're doing the Olympics in, I'm going to watch it.
There you go.
Now, some of these guys now, you can't even understand the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, is our Olympic basketball team tight, good?
I don't know.
Talented, but I don't know how.
I don't know. I know they're talented, but putting them together, and Steve Kerr's one of those guys that lets them play a little bit type of thing. I guess that's almost what you'd have to do.
Yeah, you got so many guys over there, so you feel like you got to play them all. I would rather have, some role guys over there that maybe not have to worry about having to play everybody as much. Steph Curry don't want to sit on the bench. LeBron doesn't. It's just hard to manage that. But talent-wise, they're talented. But these other countries, man, they play good basketball, so it's not a...
Well, I wouldn't bet on us winning the Olympics.
Yeah, so...
A pickup team can't beat a team that's organized as well as some of those European teams, some of those foreign country teams.
Yeah. Is that JT Thor kid, he's playing on Sudan, correct? And he's still at Auburn, correct?
Yeah. But I saw where he was going to be a pick for that, so I don't know. That doesn't affect eligibility in any way, would it?
No. Not anymore. They could play. So, well, Coach, we appreciate you, my man. Have a great weekend.
Well, I wish I had some news for you. I don't have any. Wimp's got all the news today. We'll let him handle all that.
Thanks, Sonny. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
See you guys. Looking forward to seeing you.
See you.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right, let's tell them about Bryant Bank before we get to break.
4 locations in Tuscaloosa. A bank that helps the high schools and the other schools in the city. Not only there, but throughout Birmingham. They have a lot of banks here, and been in Tuscaloosa since 2005. If you need a good bank and a good banker, and you need people who come in and help you with the things that you may need, and you can be darn sure that you can bank around the clock. The fraud attempts that come in against you, against the bank, will be certainly covered for you. What money you have there will stay there, and they'll do everything they possibly can to help you with any transactions that you would like to have. So go by Bryant Bank and tell them you heard on Inside the Locker Room.
All right, we'll come back. Open up the phone line, 205-342-9904. Also, we'll hear from Dabo Sweeney about his thoughts on the $100.
Let's get your favorite Good and Gather snacks. They're now at a new lower price.
Best team ever.
When it comes to low prices, Target has your back to school.
Did you miss any episode on Tide 100.9? Don't worry. All of our shows can be found on Spotify and Apple Music and on demand on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. I did ACC Media Day yesterday. Dabo Sweeney had a lot to say. He said if he went to another school, he could be the best portal recruiter out there. But they said they just don't lose guys, so they don't have the need. They feel like they sign guys. They want to develop them, and they don't have to go to the portal. So they haven't been utilizing the portal. I guess people just enjoy going to Clemson, and they don't run them off, and they don't leave. That probably says a lot about the school there. What your thoughts about Dabo not really using the portal, not really being loyal to his guys, which is not done a lot now in college athletics, to be quite honest with you. So I kind of respect Dabo for that.
Yeah, I think I do too. He's doing it a different way, and he's gone. He's being criticized to some degree for it, but I think. And always saying, well, they're not as good as they were when they won the national championship. Well, crap, nobody is. Nobody wins the national championship every year. Some years don't even compete for it. So, I think he's just doing what he is most comfortable with as the head coach.
Yeah,
go ahead.
And we talked about guys. Walk-ons kind of know their roles. They're not expecting to play. They know when they come there. Now, some guys come there and work their way to scholarships. I think he's a little bit worried about the 105, just because these guys, now you can probably go out and sign better players, but it's going to be more locker room problems if you don't, clearly define what a guy's role is prior to him getting there. Here's what, Dabo had to say about the 105 scholarships on the team.
The crazy thing is there's not many coaches that want 105 scholarships. We want to keep our walk-ons. It's hard to manage, that many guys. And when you have that many guys on scholarship, you think you got transfers now. You wait till that number gets there. It's going to be a lot. So it's going to change a lot of things. Sad thing, to me. Great. We get more scholarships. That's awesome. But, our game is just different. I mean, if you look at, 100 and you think 105 guys, you ought to have plenty of guys, but, you have to dive a little deeper into that. If you look at the NFL, I mean, they'll have 53 and 16 or 18 on the practice squad, but whatever their roster is, it never changes. So, for example, if they have 8 active linemen, they never have less than that. They can go to any practice squad on 32 teams and take a guy on Monday and activate him to play. And then, oh, by the way, every Tuesday they can bring free agents through. But in college, you can't grab the guy out of the algebra class over here in the middle of the season, and bring him over here and plug him in. And so whatever you start with, it dwindles. And this is a game played by big people. You don't put the corner at nose guard for the week for the scout team. It's frustrating. You need to not be able to have the walk-ons. And then in our world, we don't get them at 7 and they leave at 4. And we have a very small window to practice. You have 17 hours with a 20-hour rule. You have 17 hours to meet, to work out, to practice, to get a team ready to play Monday through Friday. So when you go on the practice field, you have to be incredibly efficient with your time. And if you don't have scout teams, to be able to present the looks, it's really difficult.
And when he says manage 105 guys, I think I know what he's saying. You got 105 guys, they all want to play. So it's hard to manage that many guys where if you just have walk-ons, they know they're not going to play and they're just going to be on the scout team. So you're going to have to clearly define these guys' roles on the team. They're going to have to understand and accept it, or you're going to have a lot of problems.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You're going to have a pile of problems. And it's not easy to manage either, brother.
Yeah, I think Calipari got tired of that at Kentucky. You know, he was bringing in, 12, 13 superstars, and then he couldn't play them all. So now the people that surrounded the kid in recruiting were mad at him. Those kids are mad. They're unhappy. They're sulking. So when he got to Arkansas, said, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to get me 8 or 9 studs. They're going to all play. They're going to all be happy. Then I'm going to get me about 3 or 4 guys that will help me practice, but they're going to know coming in that they're behind these 8 or 9. Now I'm not having to worry about who to play. That's fine, but you start getting some guys hurt, then, you may have a problem there. So it's hard to manage 13. Like, I think it's going to be really hard for Nate Oates to manage, this team this year, because every one of these guys can play. And they probably all can start at a lot of different places, but he's not going to play. He's not going to play more than 8 or 9 guys, in games that really matter. So how are those 4 or 5 guys that aren't playing, how are they going to act in the locker room? Your phone going to be ringing, from his high school coach, from his AAU coach, from his agent or whatever? Those are the things that people don't see that you have to deal with. You want to have great players, but when you have so many of them, doesn't that make it hard to manage your roster?
Yeah, they're calling home with this thing. I never thought it was going to be like this. I didn't get this idea when I first came here. This is not what I thought it was going to be. And they're 88 out the gate. They're disgruntled. Your team is messed up. And I think to some degree it's that way with all the money that they give it people at Ohio State. I just think as time goes on and things don't click and you're not playing and you get, from a mental standpoint, stuff you can't talk about on the radio and really get over to people. I don't think, but boy, the mental part is what makes you play physically. You're excited to play. Why did Auburn get beat against New Mexico State in football? They weren't ready to play. Yeah.
Well, Jimbo Fisher, that first when they could pay players, he bought some team more money, but he couldn't keep all those guys happy. The guys got money, they got complacent, and he's trying to manage that roster with those guys he gave all that money to, and it ended up flopping on him. He had good players in there, but it didn't work. He couldn't manage them. So anyway, I think it's more difficult than people realize to manage that roster. The phone calls you get, the emails of people. People hate to have to pick up the phone and talk to somebody about them complaining. Now, you don't mind explaining to them about their role and where you see them and all those things, but the complaining part is frustrating. All right, get to the Yellowwood hotline, get Digger in. Good morning, Digger.
Hey, Digger.
Digger, you there? I don't hear Digger.
Do what?
Chase, can you hear it? Digger, you there?
I heard him.
Oh, I don't hear him.
Chase?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, now we got you, Digger. We had one button and Chase had to push. He's trying to do it all at
I know
once.
I know you want that one-way conversation with me, buddy. It's not going to happen.
They say you're rude to Ryan, like you beat him up in the afternoon, but you're good to us.
Well, that's because, look, he's a sycophant.
He's a what?
You ask me, yeah, he's a sycophant. Nothing's wrong with Alabama ever. Nothing could go wrong with Alabama. Never mind. It's all good, and we're going to win another national championship this year, and it never pans out.
Oh. So he's always he's always positive.
Not positive. He's self-serving, promoting Alabama. He goes to that SID office and said, "Hey, what's on the list today?" Said,
What do you want me to say good today?
Yes. Okay, real quick. Help me out with this, okay? Did you not say, okay, we're going to have 15 scholarships for basketball.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that you can't work these guys out up to 20 players and pick your final 2? Is that what you're telling me?
That's what I
Well, they were saying, and I'd have to find out the date, that you can bring in more guys. Now, obviously, they couldn't all be on scholarship. You could only have 15, but whenever the season starts, I don't know when they mean the season starts for basketball. When practice starts for football, it's going to start here. But when you get to a certain, like in baseball, after the first semester, they got to have their roster set. So they may have 50-something guys in there, but they're going to have to be at 40 when practice officially starts. So,
right.
Yes, I would say you could.
So why can't you give them a scholarship? You practice, start your first game in October, right?
Yeah.
You make that cut. They're taking care of that semester, and then when January rolls around and you got an injury or somebody, you pick one of those guys, and you can play them in January till March. Isn't that what they'll do? I've seen it where players don't play until January because they're not eligible, and then they can get right back on the court and start playing, especially in Kansas. They do that all the time.
I don't know this.
No?
I would think if you start on scholarship, then you pretty much going to finish the year on scholarship. And then if you get hurt, if you get guys hurt now and you got 85, if you get guys hurt, they don't give you more back. Now you can go get some walk-ons. I understand that. That's why they're giving you a few more for the injuries, for the scout team guys. So, at some point you're going to have to be at 15, and I don't think you're going to be able to add during the season.
Well, you could do what they do to the scholars. Said, look, I can't give you a full ride, but I'll give you a partial scholarship.
You can do that, but he's going to be one of your 15.
Oh, see. Okay. So that does count, too. So you got a hard body count.
Of 15. And
it does commit.
Yeah,
so you can't cut him and say, hey, he's not on the roster.
Yeah, so you had a hard number of 15. Now, you could say, hey, man, we can only afford 12 scholarships. Like, our budget's not that. So you can still have 15. You just have to have 3 of them that could walk on, but your number's 15. But if you had enough money to go to 15 full scholarships, the NCAA will let you do it.
Can you go to people and say, you bring your kid in, we're going to have a tryout tryouts for those last 2 scholarships. We're going, my assistant coaches and myself are going to work you out with.
I think you probably could do that, but there's going to be a certain date you got to be at that number. That's got to be the number. And so,
that's what I'm saying, Barry. Can you not give them a scholarship? They got to pay for school in August or September. You give them the scholarship, but when it comes to game time or when you play in October, you got to cut them.
He's not on the roster. You couldn't give them the scholarship. I would think you could bring them in if you want to try them out, and then you could say, if you pick the 2 you wanted, you could say, okay, we're going to put you on scholarship now, and they probably could cut them back a check for what they paid. And they could be part of your 15 guys on scholarship. And then there may be 3 or 4 that came there that they're just going to have to be regular students now because they're not going to be on the team.
Your assistant coach has gone in there and said, I'm going to talk to my head coach, but you get your boy over at us. We're going to have a tryout for about 10.
Still, that's fine. But
then that guy doesn't make it.
But
See, I'm with Wimp on this. This is a hang-up.
But why would you do that? You already know. Just go out and find a guy who's worthy of a scholarship and give the guy a scholarship. Why are you bringing in guys, trying them out? Go watch them in AAU and evaluate them. And then give them a scholarship.
Sometimes the positions you don't know about and positions that you think you might need another guy. I think it's complicated.
But is that guy going to come and then if he was good enough to go somewhere else, and then you say, all right, nope, you're not one of the 15, and then you're done.
He's going to come if you're the quote-unquote number 1 team in the nation.
Yeah, those guys. But still, there's a hard number of 15. That's to keep guys from getting 20 and they're NIL and 5 of them, and 15 of them are getting scholarships. That's to stop all that. You got a hard number of 15. Do whatever you want with them.
That ain't right. That ain't right. Don't you think?
I think it should be more. Right. More?
I think it needs more.
You don't need more in basketball. You only play 5. You don't need more than 15.
Man, that's a long-ass schedule. I'm telling you.
Sure is. I agree. I think
you ain't playing those walk-ons anyway. So.
I could use another couple of walk-ons on the University of Texas.
Yeah.
Yes. Because they get hurt all the time. You go in there and bang it up a little bit, and I'm telling you,
they get hurt. Because, you know why? Because they're out hanging all hours of the night in Austin and not getting rest. That's why they get hurt.
Boy that played for me, Darby Rich, is going to be your new strength coach in basketball.
Well, let's hope he gives us some results, because our players aren't staying on the team. They're not staying on the court. I promise you that. I'm telling you.
Well,
you better be good.
Darby's there. He'll do it. Thank you, Digger.
Thanks, Dig.
All right, Digger. They say he beats up Ryan. Is that true? They getting I guess because he said Ryan's too.
That's news to me.
Pro Alabama. Oh, I guess we're not. All right, you listen to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. McFarland Boulevard is moving at an easy 12-minute clip from Coker down to Jack Warner Parkway. If you're traveling along 2059 from Cottondale to the I-359, that's just 8 minutes. Also 8 minutes eastbound from Foster's to the McFarland.
Also offer custom screen printing. Let Eyecatchers print shirts for your next event. 345-7762. Eyecatchers Screen Printing and Gifts, where getting seen becomes an art.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A warm day today with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. The chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms mainly this afternoon and this evening. The high today 88, the low tonight 72. Tomorrow partly sunny, a few scattered storms around, the high 89. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Two-time state champion and two-time NIT champion Barry Sanderson breaks down the latest in sports on Inside the Locker Room on Tide 100.9.
All right, welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. Right to the Yellowwood Hotline. Get Tim in. Good morning, Tim.
Hey, good morning. I got to be quick. Your show's almost over.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
You said something the other day that got me to thinking about you don't play golf a lot, but you need to kind of get into it. And I know you got young kids, but you're going to want to play some with your dad. And as you know, he ain't getting any younger. In fact, he's got a birthday coming up. We won't talk about the age he is, but he got a birthday coming up. But here's what it does, Barry. It opens up all kind of new avenues to kid him and get on him and mess with him. Yeah. It's like I played with him twice last week.
What do you do?
And he always talks about you can't play defense playing golf. He does. Let me tell you what he does. A guy's fixing to make a putt. He stands where the sun will reflect off those lily white legs of his, and the glare gets in the guy's eyes, and he can't make a putt.
So he's cheating.
No. He don't cheat. He's got gamesmanship.
That's not proper etiquette. That's almost like standing on your line.
Etiquette only counts when he's hitting a shot. It doesn't count when you're hitting a shot. Yeah. It's like we ain't playing for the first day we played. We're just playing. It's more of a practice round. We just, and I had to back off the ball a couple of times because my hitting a shot was interrupting his conversation. But the next day, we put our undefeated streak on the line. Me and your dad ain't been beat down here yet. So we've got our undefeated streak on the line. When I'm hitting a ball, he ain't said a word. Not a word.
So he's superstitious?
Who, me or him?
Him.
I don't think he's superstitious. And he has his good days and his bad days, but he just kind of overthinks the game sometimes.
Yeah. So, all right.
He's a good athlete. He doesn't let his athleticism take over. That's my biggest criticism of him. He's a good athlete, but he ties himself up with all these crazy things.
I think he gets too much in his head. He's got gets too many lessons. He's got too much going through there.
He's too smart for his own good. But anyway.
Thank you, Tim.
See ya.
All right, that's it for this week of shows. We'll get out of here and make way for the Gary Harris Show. Plenty of talk about scholarship limits today, all that. It's a changing world in college athletics. I'm kind of glad. I wish I was making the paychecks, but the headaches of how to figure out how to manage your rosters would drive you nuts. You listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports. Have a great day, everybody.